started filming this video and then realised that it was probably a bit more appropriate for October, for Halloween, but oh well, we're just gonna go with it. So hey guys, and welcome to another video, and as you can tell from the title of this video, this is all going to be about the top 5 horror novels that I would like to read in the immediate future. Horror or the supernatural is one of my favourite reading genres, so the other day I started scrolling through GOODREADS looking for books that I didn't know about or that had come out recently that I thought I might enjoy, and these are just basically going to be the books that I found on there. These books are actually going to be part of my immediate TBR. I've already taken 2 out of the library which I have to show you, and the other 3 I will be putting on hold very soon. So let's just get to the books. The first one I have to show you I actually know very little about. I've seen a few videos on it, and that is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, and this is a very thick book. I was quite intimidated when I saw it in the library, but I opened it up and I saw that pages were had just a few words on each page, so I thought, hey, that's not so bad. And then I get home to find pages like this. But it is very intriguing. When I actually took this out of the library, the librarian said to me, "Oh, so you're going to try this?" And she told me that she didn't actually know anybody who had finished it. So I'm at least going to finish it, if only to prove her wrong. But yes, House of Leaves, it will be done. The second book I have to talk about is Hexed by Thomas Olde Houvel. This is a translation of a Belgian novel, I believe, and I think it's actually YA. This novel concerns a small town called Black Spring, and in Black Spring, basically a 17th century witch, or apparition of a witch, wanders around town with her sort of eyes sewn shut and her mouth sewn shut, and will even follow you into your room and watch you sleep at night. Now that by itself sounds terrifying, but apparently the people of this town, it has been going on for so long that they've sort of accepted her presence and they're not really scared by her anymore. Apparently there's this prophecy about what will happen when her eyes eventually open, and just because it's been happening so long, the townsfolk don't believe that it ever will, so they've stopped caring, which I find hard to believe. Obviously, I'm assuming her eyes do open and the prophecy is foretold, and I'm quite interested to find out what happens when it does, but it's definitely an interesting concept, so I do want to read this one. The third book I'm interested in reading is The Hatching by Ezekiel Boone. Now, I don't know too much about this one apart from that it appeals to the arachnophobic in me. Arachnophobia? One of those. In this book, a long-forgotten cave system is discovered, and inside they find sort of eggs, and they are taken outside to study, and giant spiders hatch. That is effectively all I know about the story, but I've read some reviews on GOODREADS and it sounded really good. But yes, if you're scared of spiders, maybe this one will do it for you. The next one I have is more of a literary horror, and that is The Devil in Silver by Victor Lavelle. In this one we follow the story of a sane man who is committed to an insane asylum, and on his first night he is almost killed by this demon that strolls the halls. Now this demon has the body of an old man and the head of a bison, which I would definitely not want waking me up in the middle of the night. One of the reviews I saw for this on GOODREADS described it as sort of the surreal Wizard of Oz, which is a very strange thing to be described as since it takes place in an insane asylum. But most of the things that I read were indeed good, and it's interesting to me to see literary horror and then normal horror. But yes, old man, bison head, not good. The final book I have to talk to you about is The Terror by Dan Simmons, which is actually the biggest book on this list. I actually have this on my bookshelf at home, and it is a good 800 pages long. If anyone remembers the story of that plane that crashed into the snowy mountains and the survivors were sort of forced to become cannibals to survive, this is sort of, from what I gather, a retelling of that story. But in this story there is also something sort of supernatural lurking in the woods, and I believe that something is a sort of Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Now this again is more literary horror, and it should be at 800 pages. But I have heard very good things and I always did mean to read it. Maybe that's one I will read for Halloween itself. So there we go, those are the top 5 horror novels that I want to read. Obviously I didn't know too much about these books because I haven't read them yet. I will probably do another video closer to Halloween for top 5 horror books that I think you should read for Halloween that I have read and probably tell you a bit more about. As always, if you have read any of the books, please leave me some comments below and let me know, especially House of Leaves, like how should I go about reading that? I mean, are there any tips on reading that one? But for now, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please give it a thumbs up, and I shall see you soon with another one. Goodbye.